you already know what a bar graph looks like. So we took a look at that a while back, and we were looking at bar graphs. So we did circle and then bar graphs. So when we looked at bar graphs, they looked something similar to this or this. Okay. Now let's continue on. Now, so bar graphs are fairly easy way to interpret the information, the data. However, it's not very detailed, okay, because it kind of just shows an overall trend. It shows where something is increasing or decreasing, or it would show how things aren't very easy to predict. Okay. Now, in this activity that we've got here, we're going to go and spend some time reading about bar graphs. Okay. Now, let's consider this problem here. The average monthly temperatures are recorded from April to September. Okay. Now, these temperatures are basically put in this table. We have April, May, June, July, August, and September. So these are the numbers that we are picking. Remember, we used to call this the independent. Okay, the independent, also known as the X value. So the independent known as the X value, and then this one here was the dependent, known as the Y value. Okay. All right. So now, if I have that information in a table, we can literally take the information in the table that we have here and draw that information. Okay. So what I'm going to do for you now is I'm going to be really nice. I'm actually going to make a copy of our information that we have here, and I'm going to put it right beside our table so that we can actually look at it. Okay, just going to make a copy of that and just bring it over. All right, and then we're going to put it over here, and then we're going to move that onto here. So if I'm looking at the information for my bar graph, right, you could literally make the bar graph by labeling on the x-axis the month, and then on the y-axis the temperature, right? So remember, these things that we choose go on the x-axis, and then the stuff that we measure or have some sort of cost calculation or temper calculation is what we have in our Y values. So when we've graphed that, it shows up on our graph like this. Now, you'll notice that if we wanted to be more precise, we could put all this information into a spreadsheet program. Then we could go and use that spreadsheet program to create the temperature, the monthly temperature graph. Okay, it's not that difficult. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an example of how you can make your own spreadsheet graph in the next video. Okay, and that's it. This lesson's essentially over once you see that. Okay, all right. Okay, now here is the problem that I want you to do for your constructing your bar graph construction. Okay, there's going to be one file, and in that file you're going to use each of the tabs that are there. And this first tab that you have, you're going to go in and you're going to type in month, rainfall, April, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then what we'll do is you're going to use the example that I gave you for your video to create a table, and then your basic graph on the spreadsheet. Okay. All right. So pause the video and then try this on your own.